Welcome back, everyone. We've got a few guests in this particular module called Live Event Marketing with the Hispanic Communities. Returning today is Carola Pestegui. She's our head of social media. And joining us is from B Social Productions, the founder and CEO, Cecilia Zavala. Thank you so much for joining us, Cecilia.
Thank you, Hugo. Hola, Carol. How are you? Thank you very much for inviting me.
Doing super well. So this segment is a little unorthodox for a program that is largely focused on digital strategies. But what we found in the last couple of years is that members in our program who are really committed to being an authentic resource in the Hispanic community as an attorney, the ones that do the best are the ones that are doing all the necessary work online. The ads, the intake, the creative, the videos, the websites, etc. But they're going above and beyond inside their local Hispanic communities to become a resource. And there are a lot of shortcuts to do this. None of them are simple or easy, or dare I say even cheap. They do require an investment. However, they're an investment into the community beyond just your P&L. And so the way Cecilia, if I'm not mistaken, the way your Be Social, the production company, event production, works is a TV network, let's call it a national Latino TV network, will reach out to you and say, hey, we want to host a health fair, and we want you to produce all the booths, all the infrastructure, the security, the staging, and then you'll be in charge of not just the production and logistics of the event, but you'll also find sponsors at that event who are aligned to the mission of the event and aligned to providing value to the Hispanic community. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, that's what I would do. Basically, our events are free for the community, so that's the way that we have to pay these kind of events.
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, we went to a few. So and in disclosure, we work with Be Social. Be Social is an amazing production company. We work closely with Cecilia and her team to bring our members and members of the Abogados NOW program in the Hispanic community by having booths at these large events. This is actually a picture from the most recent event in Huntington Park, which is in LA County. Can you talk to us a little bit about what this event was and the attendance that you drew?
Thank you. Okay, that event was on December. So basically our idea is to create a safe space where the people can find resources, information, health screenings, and everything to help them a little bit navigate through this system. Hispanics, all these countries, here it's completely different. The health system, the educational system, the laws. In our countries, we don't sue a supermarket if we fall down. It's like we don't know that until we get here. So these kind of events creates an opportunity for the people who just arrived, who are here for a while, to find different answers to their questions of just being here.
Yeah, well, what kind of sponsors did you have at this event? So I was at this event. It was a remarkable event. You had one of our attorney members stage a booth there. But what other types of businesses and professionals posted booths there?
As long as you would like to connect with the community and make sense and value to all of us, you're completely welcome. We have working with pharma, hospitals, health insurance, all of them. All the competition, wireless networks, nonprofits, small, large one, community clinics. So different kind of organizations who would like to engage with the community. So these are the partners that we have.
Yeah, I saw a few booths where the local community in Huntington Park. It was at Salt Lake Park, which is not too far from actually where I grew up. I grew up in Downey. I saw people getting like their dental screenings. Like there was obviously, it wasn't a clinic, but there were dental professionals looking at teeth. There were people talking about cardiovascular issues. There were people talking about their insurance. And so it seems like it was super high impact. I mean, you could see from the numbers that people were really resonated. This, if I'm not mistaken, is it right that you had about 12,000 plus attendees?
Yeah. This event was specifically a toy drive. We know that the community is facing a lot of, economic circumstances. We distribute food, we give away toys, we give away 8,500 toys. So a lot of
Okay.
families, they receive resources, and once they get there, we make them go and visit the other spaces. Lawyers, of course, we had lawyers, and I have all these different resources, the health screenings and everything.
Yeah, I mean, there was 300 health screenings, dental, breathing checks, glucose monitoring, blood pressure, fiber scans. The toy drive, yeah, I mean, that drew tons of lines. I love the booths that were giving away food boxes. That was remarkable. But what I also liked about the event, and I think it really resonated, because you had these the stage where you had local radio personalities show up, so it just made it a very local, very relevant event. But the reason that we wanted to chat with you today was namely about the experience that our members have when they work with you. When they set up these booths, they don't see this as some kind of ROI exercise. Like, oh, how many leads am I going to get? How many signups am I going to get? How many interactions am I going to get? Like, what it really is putting your brand in the community, putting your booth, giving away swag that people will want to use, the bags, the water bottles, the hats, but also providing a really safe, confidential space so that if people want to have a legal discussion about their problems, they can have it right there at that booth with the attorneys. So just generally speaking, for a firm that is considering being in these types of events, what do you recommend them to do first? Because they may not have Be Social in their local market, right? So what do you typically recommend if a firm wants to authentically be present in these Hispanic communities?
I think I was listening to the previous presentation, and it's amazing having the social media thing, the website and everything. But being on an event creates a meaningful connection. Word of mouth here, it's super important among the community, and of course, lawyers, it's like we feel them a little bit intimidating sometimes, so it's like something far, something that we don't understand, a space that we're not familiar with. Basically, a good lawyer or a bad lawyer can determine your life, the course of your life. Immigration, family, whatever you see, lawyers are super important. And for that matter, it's like something like very unreal, like, unapproachable. We saw the billboards with the faces of the lawyers, and that's great. But I think this is creating connections, talking to the people, listening to them. And if you would like to start doing these events, start locally, literally. Just all the cities, small cities, as schools, churches, they have these resource events where you can start, and then you can come here as well. Of course, you're welcome. But connecting, like one-on-one, it's super important.
Yeah, and we do recommend. We'll share Cecilia's information on the post event email, so that if you're really interested in being involved in community events, she is the best person to talk to regarding these events. Now,
if I may jump in quickly, Hugo. One thing I would add about the events is I know Cecilia has talked about the importance of having your Spanish-speaking team representing the brand. So I think that's one key thing that everybody has to keep in mind. The attendance, and I think there's more stats on that, the attendance is like 80% Hispanic, and they expect to see the teams speaking Spanish, and that is really where the connection is going to happen. So
and
true.
You will see the demographics. Of course, some organizations, their main focus is kids. Kids, they speak English, but of course, you don't want to talk to kids. You want to talk to the parents, to the grandparents. So most of them, is not mandatory, but I always recommend it, to have someone who speaks Spanish on their booth, because at the end you need to talk to them, and they don't know to speak English, and sometimes the kid you will need to use your kid as a translator, but at the end, you don't want your kid to know all your legal things. So
Absolutely.
it's like a little bit complicated.
It can be, yeah. And Carol, you put this and there's countless studies on this. I'm going to refer to this book again. It's on my desk because Isaac Mizrahi, he's the GOAT of Hispanic marketing. I love this book. If you haven't read this book, you need to read this book. It's called Hispanic Market Power, and he has countless chapters on this particular slide. That trust and connection is so big, and I want you to expand on this, Carol, because and you've communicated this in the past, that if you sign up one person in the Hispanic community, you're not really signing up one person. You're signing up their immediate family, you're signing up the church community, you're signing up their friends, you're signing up their family, and it's like a very big network effect. So if someone sees your brand at this event, they will likely, you're immediately top of mind, but now there is an active member of the community that is a legal professional that you can now refer to if you feel comfortable, right? And so, Carol, you've been part of these other events, also some in Texas and other states. I mean, Cecilia talked about church events, school events, but you've also seen other events, for instance, that turkey giveaway. Let's talk about that one.
Yeah, so this one firm in Texas decided to do a turkey giveaway. They were giving about 1,000 turkeys for Thanksgiving. I think it was a couple weeks before Thanksgiving. We promoted it on all their channels and all their Spanish channels. The ads team jumped in to help give extra boost to all of these posts and reels where we were promoting the event. And they were also promoting it separately to their clients directly. And the response was immense. And they gave away every turkey, and after that we also were able to get the reels to share about this, the success of the event. But I think the key takeaway is a lot of the testimonials that came from that were from existing clients that actually picked up a turkey, and they were so thankful that they may not have said it directly there, but we know they're going to be telling their friends and family, they're going to be posting about it, and from there and on, every friend or family member that needs an attorney, even if it's not going to be in that specific area, in that specific practice area, they will refer this person to you, right? To your law practice. And whether you can take it or refer it, that's another thing. But it's building this network within the Hispanic community that I think is the most meaningful takeaway.
Yeah, it's sort of like, don't show up to sell something. Show up to provide value. Like if you're thinking about doing events, show up because you actually want to give away something free. I would say model it after this event. We're not asking for anything. We're not going to sell you anything. There's no emails. There's no phone numbers. There's no click here after this event. We want to educate the legal community, want them to understand the power of the Hispanic market. Similarly, if you really want to educate your local Hispanic community that you are the most bilingual friendly office, you have the best staff, go for it. Just be part of the community. This is not a selling opportunity. And so I'm curious, other than the turkey event, Carol, or I'm sorry, I'm going to pass this off to Cecilia. What other types of events have you seen draw lots of people in? Because toy drives, I could see why that is popular in certain communities. But what other marquee reasons do people have to attend these events in droves?
We organize around 4 to 5 events a year. These events are large, so that's why we don't have one each weekend, as you can imagine. Yeah. And so this is one. We do a back to school event, which we distribute backpacks, school supplies, and all of them, they have this health component. We have been doing this for 10 years, and basically we know that the people, they don't have insurance. This community, it's pretty much different than the African communities because it's a lot of fear-based. So on knowledge, about health insurance, like the people, they just don't go and make your health checkups. Right. So this serves as an amazing opportunity to just at least check your cholesterol numbers, your glucose, and see how it's doing, your liver. So I think when you provide this kind of value, and at the end, you put all this information on the side, lawyers, like resources about, I don't even know that there are organizations who come and pay and renew your house for free.
Right.
because they need to check the lead, and if it's not, like, they paint everything and they do everything for free. So all these kind of organizations are the ones that we invite to our events. And we do a 5K walk, and they end up on a health and research fair. We have a job fair. And so these kind of events provide value, as you mentioned, and at the end they get informed and educated.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So, like, logistically, Carol, you were involved in this event as far as helping the member of our program set up booths and get collateral. Let's talk through these stages, because if you're going to be at these events, you do have to be quite organized. And I was kind of astonished at the amount of planning that went into posting a booth. It was kind of taken aback. So Carol, why don't you walk us through this slide?
Yeah. So, well, ideally you have a very organized team taking care of all the logistics. If that's the case, you have to, on your end, make sure that you kind of go through a checklist of different things that you need to ensure you have. So if there is advertisement going on about the event, you want to make sure you get your logo on time to the team preparing all of this. You know, if there's social media mentions, you want to make sure you get posted on that, you know, as a sponsor. If you can be tagged on the post, if you can share some of those posts, that's always great to do. So we, you know, those were part of the activities that we were doing at the event. That you need a booth, most likely, maybe some, you know, additional tents, tablecloths, and then swag. And then you have to think for, you know, we've already talked about the type of swag, but for example, for the back to school, one of our clients did backpacks and they had their logo. The logo wasn't the main thing, but I think it was like 500 backpacks. So these are going to be walking around schools and, you know, camps and sports for however long, a year or two or more. Same water bottles, frisbees, and also our clients have QRs for their social media profiles, so everybody can scan through, and you know the team is interacting, saying, make sure you follow us. We do giveaways. We have a lot of legal information. You know, we're always sharing tips and things like that. And it's also an opportunity to have the person sign up as into your database, opt into a database where you can later text them, email them. They can become future potential clients.
Yeah, and I think there was two major learning lessons in doing a lot of events over the last couple of years, especially with Cecilia. It's that if you're really close to the organizer early on, that will make or break the success of your presence at the event. Like, you want to make sure that 100%. You're aligned to their promotional channels. And then secondly is that the first one is always the toughest one. And then you learn something new, and then you do the second one, and then you learn something new, and then you iterate on the third one, etc. And I'll give an example of one. The first event that I think we saw, we had a line out the tent. Like, it looked like maybe 500-600 people that wanted, I believe it was a backpack. And my wife was with me, a couple friends, and a lot of the office staff was there, and we were just taking names down on papers. And you know, we didn't know the space all that well. The law firm that we were representing with, they weren't really familiar with the space. And then we just huddled up after and said, you know, we have about 1,000 pieces of paper. Maybe next time we should just have a couple iPads. You know,
even the branded canopies, remember?
Yeah, exactly.
So it makes a lot of visibility and makes a huge difference just with the name and the branding. Like, the people can notice it, like, oh, right away, like the red canopies were there, the lawyers were there. So the people there always have questions. So this is amazing. Like, once you have a lawyer there, they were like, you can always find a way to discover new potential ideas and help them, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm curious, Cecilia, we do have a question here. It says, how often do you recommend attending live events each year as a law firm? So you produce 4 to 5 massive ones per year. But for a firm that really wants to be active, how often should they be at events?
It depends. Like, I don't know. I could say like once a month, like finding maybe a smaller and then large ones, and so you can see what works and what doesn't. Because at the end, having the right staff, it's super important. It doesn't matter if you go to a massive event, you don't have the right people on your booth. So you have to connect with the people, make them feel that they are like you're answering their questions. And I have had organizations that tell me, Cecilia, your event didn't work because, yeah, of course, the lady was pregnant who was working. She was pregnant, she was tired, and she was checking her phone. Of course, it was 5,000 people on the event.
Yeah.
Being able to drag and answer people and connect with the community, with your staff, that's super important. So you can start looking at small events and then larger, and then see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, so in every one of these segments, our promise is to give an actionable takeaway. So if someone wants to do something today to get themselves involved, and let's call it a small scale event, what's the phone call that office manager or that attorney needs to make today?
I'm sorry?
Yeah, so like, would you recommend them calling like a radio station or a church, or to be part of a small?
Take a look at the events that are happening around you. Eventbrite, it's a great source to find events near you. So if it fits what you're looking for, I think that's a great opportunity. There's like 1 million events I'm in Los Angeles, so the competition is huge. There's a lot of events going on the same time, every single day.
Yeah, love it. All right, Cecilia. Well, thank you so much for joining us. You have a tremendous wealth of knowledge in this event space. We're going to share your information, your contact information, with anyone watching who wants to reach out to you. And Carol, thank you again for co-hosting this segment.